Morning, everyone. Quick video coming at you to talk about. Let me see if I can say. Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay. To talk about branding yourself, getting on bigger platforms, getting in front of bigger audiences. So, I have a few tips for you. So, I've been on local news a handful of times, big stages, big platforms, and I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about my nationally syndicated radio show and bringing guests on. So I think it's important to understand that if you look at big platforms like TV, they've been growing and developing their audience for years. That's why they're well known. That's why they have so many people watching and tuning in. And of course, they're on TV. So they put in time and effort. They find advertisers, they find sponsors, they find different ways to reach different markets. And that's how they survive. That's how they stay on TV. That's how they keep expanding and growing and find different markets. Now, so that's one thing I want to tell you is that TV is not just TV. Like, if it's not a good show, if they don't have an audience, they kind of disappear. So we have to understand that if you can get yourself on TV, it's a great privilege, as we know, to brand yourself, to market yourself, to get yourself in front of a huge audience. Now, a lot of people don't know it took me years to get on my first TV, get on my first TV appearance, let's say. So they have certain protocol and certain things that they're looking for. So you have to be that type of person that has to offer what they need. Now, I've been on recently a couple times, and I'm going back on in November here, and we've been emailing back and forth, and they're telling me like, oh, you've been on in the past, we really enjoy you, or like, you're a good speaker, you're a good presenter, you represent yourself well, but that's not what we're looking for. So then we go back and forth. They said, well, how about this? And they're like, okay, but can we put this spin on it? And I'm like, okay, I can do that. Would you like me to do this as well? So we go back and forth and try to figure out what's good for their audience. Now, we have to understand that it's not a privilege for me to get on their... I mean, I'm not offering them a ton of benefit, right? Like, maybe if I was an A-lister and had millions of followers, not yet. So I have to do my best to conform a bit to what they're looking for, to their wants and needs, and what they feel like their audience is looking for. When I first tried to get on TV, I emailed back and forth, I called, I messaged, nobody answered. So I had to keep putting in the work. I had to keep grinding it out. I had to find an edge and an angle. It ended up being I was a new author and I published a new book. So that's how I got on the first time, and that gives me credibility to get on again. So you have to find out what's great for their specific audience if you want to get on a bigger platform. Now, it doesn't have to be TV. It could be podcasting. It could be like an audio interview. It could be guest blog posting on someone else's page or website to get in front of their audience. We have to do different things. We have to do different things to get in front of bigger audiences and other people's audiences. So if we're just talking to our own audience, we're not going to grow. We're not going to reach the masses. We're not going to find new followers, new fans, subscribers, new customers. We're not going to be able to continue to do our craft that we love if we don't get ourselves in front of other people's audiences and on bigger platforms. So you can look at, like I said, podcasting is a big one right now. There's so many new podcasts popping up. You should be looking at different podcasts to get on, because I'm telling you that guests and interviewers are looking for people to interview. They're not looking for just anyone. They're hoping to find people with an audience. They're looking to find people with bigger audiences so they can expand and grow their podcast. So it works hand in hand. For me, as my show, it's a radio show and it's a podcast. But I want to have bigger name people come on my show. Hopefully they'll share my show with their audience. So not only am I sharing my audience with them, but they're sharing their audience with me. So it works really nicely hand in hand. But you have to understand that sometimes people come on the show and have no consideration or no interest in sharing with their audience, which is a bit odd to me. And it kind of bugs me a little bit. Just because I work so hard to grow my audience and build a platform, I bring them on, and then there's no reciprocation. So if you're going to guest on someone else, like if you're going to guest blog post, you share that post with your audience. Because if there's tons of people that read it and they can track all that, then give you another opportunity to do that in the future. If you do a great job on TV, then I guarantee you they'll bring you back on, because they're always looking for new and interesting guests or repeat guests to come back on and do more interviews. You just kind of have to get your foot in the door. You have to do a good job. You have to promote yourself. When I do a TV spot segment, I promote that everywhere, and you should, because I get a chance to be the expert. I get a chance to get in front of a brand new audience, into a bigger audience, onto a bigger platform. Why wouldn't I share that? So if you look at my radio show, for example, I've been growing my radio show for at least 8 years. This is going on 9 years. I've put in the time and effort to produce a show every single week. It's been a grind to do that, to put that out, to find sponsors, to find followers, to get on new radio stations. My radio show isn't just a podcast. And it's kind of like, I'm always thinking, like, when they're like, oh, I was just on Drew's podcast. I'm like, actually, it's a radio show, and we're on 7 different stations across Canada. So that seems a bit more appealing to me than just saying a podcast. But you can label it whatever you want. My point is that I put in a lot of time and effort to build my audience and to grow my audience. So I appreciate when people share that with other people. So if you're guesting on other people's platforms, you should do your best to share that with your audience in as many places as possible. Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, wherever it is. If you're on Twitter, LinkedIn, share that so other people can see you guesting and appearing on other people's shows, which means more people will invite you on to be a guest on their shows. Now, everyone has different protocol. I have a protocol for my show. The news does. Every podcaster, every radio host has a specific step-by-step process. So for me, I used to send out a guest form to fill out, and very few people would fill it out, which was crazy to me. I was like, all you have to do is fill out a form, so I have all the notes in one spot. But it became an issue because so many people didn't want to do it, and I'm like, you're getting yourself in front of a huge audience. All you have to do is fill out this form. Didn't seem like a big deal to me. But there's a few things that I ask for: an iTunes review, subscriptions always help. I ask for a bio and a picture, and to connect on Skype before we even book the interview. And that's important to me because sometimes I take all that time to book the interview and to record the interview. We used to produce the interview, and then I wouldn't get a bio, so I couldn't promote it. I wouldn't get a picture, so we couldn't edit the picture, put it in the blog post, and then get that out to our audience. So for me, it's like, I've been doing this long enough. I feel like I can be like, sorry, if you don't send me your bio, if I can't get a picture from you, if you're not willing to take that time, then I'm not going to book you on for an interview until I do that. Now, publicists understand this. Hopefully they're on the same page. Like, I'm sure some have a few issues from time to time because their guests don't want to follow protocol. They just want to come on. I don't know why that's dark. Like, they just want to come on and go, which is fine, but they're not a guest for my show. But I wanted to share that with you and express that with you, that if you are going to guest on someone else's show, you should be more than willing to go out of your way to take the steps that they need so you can get in front of their audience. If there's a specific protocol, some people are like, oh, my Skype doesn't work, or can we use Zoom instead? And I'm like, no, this is my process. This is how it works. If you want to come on my show, this is how it works. And if I was to come on your show, I'd be happy to accommodate however you record, however you book your interviews, or any information I need to send you to make it happen. So I think that if you're going to reach out and be on more shows and get in front of other audiences and bigger audiences and other platforms, you have to understand that you have to be willing to put in some effort, put in some time, make a Skype account or a Zoom account, or put together a nice little bio and find a cool picture that doesn't look like a realtor picture or doesn't look like your high school grad photo that no one wants to see anyways. How is that going to help promote the show? So those are my words for you this morning. I hope that helps. I hope you take some time and effort to get on other platforms, to get in front of bigger audiences, because that's how you're going to grow your audience. That's how you're going to find more customers, new fans and followers, and hopefully you can turn them into fans for life. Thanks so much for tuning in. More details in my book called Random Thoughts for Business Owners and Entrepreneurs, Volume 1. Man, it's loud. And then I do some one-on-one coaching as well. So if you want to get your hands on my book, hit me up and I can hook you up, or shoot me a message and we can talk about if one-on-one coaching is a good fit for you.